Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Boss Lady 101 Pro. My name is Coach Sybil Kearse, and I am truly humbled to be able to share this time with you. Thankful for everybody who will be joining and viewing and catching the replay. So if you are here now, feel free to drop a comment. We are streaming live on Facebook on our Boss Lady 101 page. And you'll be able to find us at facebook.com/Boss Lady 101 Pro. If you are going to catch the replay, put hashtag replay for me. If you are catching the replay, I need you to put hashtag replay for me so I know that you were there, okay? And this is something that we're going to be doing every Monday. And it's just something that I decided that I wanted to do because people constantly reach out to me about different things and seeking my coaching expertise, if you will. And so this is something that I know will help many people. And I'm grateful to be able to do what I do, and the people who allowed me and entrusted me with the task of being their coach. I find it privileging and humbling at the same time. So today's topic is going to be talking about how we shouldn't let our feelings limit our actions. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things first to set the ground rules. So I will be posting another video later on, and it will just basically talk about this particular coaching method that I'll be using in these Monday mindset coaching sessions that I'll be sharing with you. So we're gonna basically identify what I call the demolition site. The demolition site. That's where we're gonna identify the problem, okay? Which would more than likely be the topic. And then we're gonna move on to the discovery, where we'll assess the damage. We're gonna assess what the problems are in that particular topic and how it is affecting you. Then we're going to do some gold digging, where we're going to dig it up and set the foundation so that we can reconstruct upon it, okay? Because the goal is to have the issue no longer be the issue in your life, okay? And that's how we achieve our goals. That's how we reach success, is because we identify what the problem is and move it on out the way, so that we can move forward, right? We can step over some things, right? A friend of mine put up on her post, and that it did something to me. She said, I'm stepping over the things I used to trip over, all right? And I really love that, what she said. I call her Nita P, and she knows who she is. But that post, that resonated in me, and it did, because a lot of times it's what we're feeling that causes us to stumble. We be tripping over things that we really should let go, right? So after we finish the gold digging process, now we're going to do the coalition process. This is where we bring it all together. This is where we identify how we're going to get from point A to point Z, okay? So the video I will post later will go into depth about how I formulated that particular methodology of coaching. So here we are, we identified the problem, letting our feelings limit our actions. What led me to this topic is simply because I talk to people, people reach out to me, and a lot of times in the conversation, they talk about what their issue is. They identify it themselves, right? And then the next thing out of their mouth is, but I don't feel like it, or I'm in my feelings, or they allow their feelings to interfere with their ability to be productive or proactive. These feelings that we deal with is the problem, okay? So I went ahead and looked up some definitions real briefly, and I apologize for the papers shuffling, but anyway. All right, so feelings, it's a noun, but it's an emotional state or a reaction, okay? I want you to remember that, reaction. Then the word action, that's a fact or process of doing something, all right? So if we were to take those two definitions and put it into context or in a streamlined process, one of them is a reaction and the other one is actually doing something. When we have those two reversed, we find ourselves stuck. we find ourselves not making progress. We find ourselves not making moves, okay? We are in a place that we are stuck in and we're wondering why we're not getting anywhere, okay? So if I'm going to use something that was meant to be a reaction as my main course of action, then I'm limited in what I'm going to accomplish. Let me say that again. If I use something that was designed to be a reaction as my main course of action, then I'm going to be limited in the results that I'm going to get. I'm going to be limited in the productivity. I'm going to be limited in my progression because I'm reversed. In other words, I'm hustling backwards, you know? So think about it this way. My feelings should be in response to something. Some stimuli cause me to feel something. Now, I'm not talking about the physical feeling of touch. I'm talking more about emotional, okay? So I'll give you an example, and this is a hypothetical scenario. Let's say that there's an individual who needs a job, okay? Maybe they lost their job or they're just starting their job seeking journey. So here they are needing a job. So they know that there's some actions that they have to take in order to secure the job, right? You're either going to have to put in some applications. You're going to have to go on interviews, okay? You may even have to be proactive and develop a resume so that you can leave it with your prospective employers, so that in the event they don't remember who you are, they have something that they can go back and look at. You'll have to take some initiative. You're going to have to take some steps before you just are given a job, right? So let's say this individual now has a feeling of laziness, right? They don't feel like getting up. They don't feel like getting on the computer and typing up a resume. They don't feel like they can do it. Well, I've never done a resume before. I don't know what it entails. They don't feel like they can go and interview. They don't feel confident in themselves to put themselves out there, or they don't feel whatever it is. That feeling automatically canceled out any action that they could have or should have taken to reach the goal that they desire, to reach the desired outcome. Okay? There are many things that we feel when we're in our feelings that hinder us from taking appropriate action. So my question to you, what have you felt lately that stopped you from reaching a particular goal? Okay. And I can go real deep, but because I don't plan to be before you long, I'm just going to throw a couple of poppers out there that may spark some type of thought process in you. Okay. I already used something like a person seeking a job, but let's think about this. How many times has it been presented to you that there was something you wanted to reach, but some feeling you had stopped you, okay? Or attitude hindered you. Let's say you wanted to go out to an outing, and it would have been a good opportunity to network with some other people, develop networks and fellowships and establish a connection with people. But because you wasn't feeling it for no particular reason, or you felt that people didn't like you, people you've not met, people you've not interacted with, but you automatically have this feeling that you're not going to be welcomed, so you don't even try to go. How about in relationships, when you know that the relationship you're in is not serving the purpose in which you desire? Maybe it's not moving along as you want it to. Maybe you're not receiving the support that you would like to receive from the person you're with. And yet, because you have this feeling of attachment, or you have this feeling of an expectation that this person will become who you want them to be, you stay. Maybe you have this feeling that you're not good enough, and so you don't even try. Maybe you feel like, oh, everybody else is doing this, so why should I do it? These feelings that we have, it ultimately ends up being what we call blockers. They stop you from taking action. So how do we fix it? How do we attempt to help our mind process these feelings without allowing it to limit our action? Because see, anything that we decide to do, any type of success we want to achieve, it takes a course of action to get there. Okay, so if I was hungry and there was a tree that had some fruit, that if I ate the fruit, it will solve my issue of hunger. Okay, and so because I know that this fruit is available to me, I decide I'm going to go lay down under the tree with my mouth open and hope that the fruit falls into my mouth so that I can have some type of nourishment. Obviously, the feeling of entitlement that this tree owes me something hindered me from doing the work of going to get what I need. Sometimes it's those types of feelings that stop us from putting in the work. It stops us from taking appropriate action. And when we don't take appropriate action, when we don't put in the work, we absolutely cannot expect to yield the results we desire. Losing weight. People are going to have surgeries. They're trying to find that magic pill. They're trying to do all of these things to get the desired result of the look they want to see or the health goal they're trying to achieve. But when it comes to going and putting in work in the gym, we don't. Because we don't have the instant gratification of seeing the results. We do 5 push-ups and we expect to be, bodybuilder status. But the truth of the matter is it may take months of commitment and hard dedication and work before we see the smallest of results. And it's the feeling of entitlement that makes us feel that we're entitled to have instant gratification. Well, it didn't take us 5 minutes to get out of shape. So certainly it won't take 5 minutes to get back into shape, but we have to change the way we think. We can no longer use our feelings as our main source of action because it will never get us to take appropriate action. So let's talk about how we can break those barriers down so that we could start to potentially rebuild and find ourselves making progress. One way that is helpful, there's power in words, okay? And I'm not even going to get biblical on you, but there is power in what you say. We talk about affirmations, how powerful they are, and they are when used correctly. So one thing I have used in my own personal journey when I battle with this issue, because understand, even as a coach, I'm by far not perfect. I battle with things as well, but getting through them is something that helps me become a more effective coach for those that I am coaching. So one thing I do, I identify the goal. So I'm going to go back to the example I gave about the job, needing a job. Let's say I need the job. I was that person. But I don't feel like I'm prepared or qualified, or I don't have a resume and I have not taken an initiative to create one, to Google one, or get a template, or even pay someone. I took none of those courses of actions because my feeling just limited told me that I wasn't good enough. I didn't have what it takes. I wasn't qualified because I didn't have this resume. The fact that I need a job hadn't changed, regardless of what I felt. So that's what I do. I identify what the issue is. Write that down. I'll write it with you. The first thing we do is identify the issue that needs some type of resolve. Need a job. Then we identify what feeling we have that's in between us and getting the job. And the reason why I say identify the feeling first, because if we identify what that feeling is, it could be something to help propel us towards it, or it could be something that's holding us back from it. So we need to identify that feeling, that emotion, okay? In this scenario, it's that I don't feel equipped. I don't feel that I'm eligible for this job, right? So the feeling is feeling unequipped. All right, so we got the issue, we got the emotion. In this case, it is an emotion that's hindering us from resolving the issue. Now what we have to do is we're going to have to redirect our patterns of thinking, because if I am okay with stopping at the fact that I am not equipped for this job, I will never get the job. We have to get around that blockage, which in this case is the feeling, that emotion, okay? So what I do is now I use words in my favor. I've established the feeling, I've established the issue that needs to be resolved. Now I need to let my words speak to me. And what I say, instead of saying, I don't feel equipped to apply or interview for this job, what I choose to say is, because I refuse to get a resume, I will never get the job. See, that sounds a lot worse than just saying, man, I'm not equipped. I don't have what it takes. I'm not prepared. Because I refuse to get prepared, I will never get the job. Now, you may say that's not an affirmation, and you're right, it's not. Okay, it's not an affirmation. You're actually speaking against yourself, but you're speaking your truth as it is right now. And so now that you've identified the feeling, you've identified the issue, you're telling yourself what it is that you're doing, the type of reaction that you're having based off your feeling is something that you're not doing to get to the goal. So now that we've identified those three components, we are now going to speak what we need to do. And we're going to reverse that train of thinking, because let me tell you something. I will not let my refusal to better myself hinder me from bettering myself. That's ridiculous. It's absurd, but people do it all the time. And a lot of times it's done at a subconscious level. A lot of times people talk themselves out of things before they even try, often. And if you were to be honest with yourself, just as I've had to be honest with myself, you will see that that is true. There's so many people that should be doing some things, but they've talked themselves out of it because of an emotion, a feeling, or a way of thinking. So now we're going to change that. Because I refuse to get my resume or prepare myself, I will never get a job. 2, I refuse to not get a resume so that I can get a job. I refuse to allow myself to remain unprepared so that I can get a job. You see, when you start pepping yourself up and understanding your why, you will discover your how to get there. But you got to remember your why. Why do you need this job? I need to feed my family. I need to maintain my lifestyle. I need to pay for things in order to live. I need this thing. That's why. And when you find your why, in whatever the circumstances is, whether you're trying to start a new business, whether you're looking for a job in actuality, whether you're trying to start a family, whether you're looking to start a relationship with someone, whether you're looking to write a book, whatever it is, whatever personal self-development that you are trying to accomplish, you have to remember why you want it in all things. Because your why will always supersede any feelings that's going to negate why you should go, why you should pursue, why you should continue. You got to go hard for yourself. Some of you all are going to watch this and you're going to realize you go hard for everyone else. You go hard for your kids, you go hard for your spouse, you go hard for your supervisors, you go hard for everybody else. But when it comes to you, you're willing to allow that feeling of insecurity, that feeling of entitlement, or whatever that feeling is, hinder you while you're pushing everyone else. And we can no longer do that. We can no longer allow ourselves to be the last ones for ourselves. We got to show up for ourselves. And it's going to take you redirecting those thoughts. And when you develop your ability to identify what your issue is, kind of needs to be specific. You will be honest with yourself and identify what emotion, feeling, or train of thought are you allowing to stop you from getting to resolving that issue. Then you make it a statement. Because I am doing this, I will never do that. And let the realization of what you just said to yourself, the ridiculousness of it, resonate inside of yourself, and you come up with your affirmation. And you will declare and speak over yourself what you will do, what you will accomplish, because you will not let this emotion stop you. Okay, we all get tired. Let's talk about me for a minute. I worked a 14-hour shift last night. I got home at about 7:45 this morning. It is 9 o'clock. I made a commitment to do this. I had not slept. I'm not really concerned with what I look like. I've been up all night, okay? I could have said, I don't feel like doing it because I'm tired. I could be in my bed sleeping. I could be doing anything else other than this, but I made a commitment, and the why is because someone needs to hear what I'm saying. Someone needs to grab hold of this because someone needs their breakthrough. And that why for me was more important than me getting some sleep. It was more important than me go doing anything else I wanted to do. And in fact, I have even taken the liberty of starting a meal that I'm going to cook. Okay, while I came home, so that I can have something to do to stay awake. My point in case is we can all make excuses. We can let our feelings justify that excuse, but an excuse is still just an excuse. And you know what? Sometimes excuses leave you excused from your blessing, from your goal, from your achievement. And we can't allow that to happen, because you know what? There's only one you. There's only one life. And sometimes there's only one opportunity. And no longer will we allow our feelings, our emotions to hinder or limit our action taking ability. There's a goal you want to reach. Okay. There's a goal that deep down on the inside of you, you want to accomplish. I've named a few. Getting promoted. I talk to so many people who should put themselves forth in getting promoted. And you know what they tell me? Well, they probably ain't gonna give it to me. That feeling that you just expressed hindered you from even trying. And you know what? If you never try, guess what is a definite no. When you try, it's a maybe or even a possibility. But why cancel yourself out before anyone else has? You have no idea what you can do if you don't try, if you don't put yourself out there. So hopefully this coaching session has helped you to learn to identify some things, how to redirect your train of thought so that you can achieve your goals, okay? To recap, the topic today was don't let your feelings limit your actions. Why? Because actions get you to where you're trying to go. You got to put in the work. You got to take appropriate action, okay? And you don't have to look at the whole staircase, just look at one step at a time. Eventually you'll see that you've made progress. But if your feelings never let you take the first step, guess what you'll never do? You'll never make progress. So now that you've identified that thing that you want to accomplish, that goal, search yourself and discover why you haven't done it yet. Even if it feels justifiable in yourself, why haven't you done it? What emotion do you have that told you you shouldn't go do it? Write it down. Now, make your statement. based off what you wrote. I refuse to do such and such because, and I will never reach this goal. And when you realize how ridiculous that sounds, that one statement is stopping you from reaching greatness, from developing and becoming the best version of yourself, now you will reverse that and say, I refuse to not do this so that I can reach my goal. And as you apply that technique to many areas that your emotions, that your feelings is blocking you, canceling out things that you haven't even gotten to yet, you will realize that that path that you were supposed to be on is waiting for your feet, is waiting for you. And your feelings is stopping you from getting on that path. And I don't want to see anybody miss out on opportunities that was created just for them. Because you know what? It doesn't wait for you, just like time does not wait for anyone. If you don't go and seize the moment, if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't take a chance on yourself, somebody else will take your spot. And you know what? I want to see you make it. I want to see you get to where you're trying to go. I want to see your praise report, your progress report. I want to see those things, because the more people are blessed, the more I know that God is in the neighborhood, the more I know that positive things are happening. And don't you think we need more positivity in the world, especially with everything we've been going through these last couple of years? Listen, show up for yourself. And I promise you, it'll be well worth it. You will not regret it. You will be glad that you did. And as you move forward into the things that you were destined to do, you will be encouraging someone else to do the same thing, because somewhere, somebody is always going to be watching you. And you never know if you're going to be that encourager or that motivation for them to do the same thing that you did to get to where you are. So never give up. Always strive to put in that work. Always strive to take appropriate action, and always reach your goal one way or another, because it's there and it's waiting for you. That concludes today's coaching session for Monday Mindset. And I'm grateful for those of you that are here. Again, if you watch this and live, just drop a line and say hello. But if you're catching the replay, put hashtag replay, so I'll know that you came by, okay? And in future sessions, we're gonna have a lot of goodies that I plan on giving away, a lot of things that I plan on being a blessing to people, because I'm just grateful that I'm blessed, and I never take it for granted. I'm no longer where I was, but I'm grateful for where I'm going, and I'm always going to be very happy about where I am now, because could have always went another way, but we thank God that it didn't. So thank you for tuning in, and I bid you a wonderful day. Make this week count. Make sure you take notes and apply it, apply it, apply it. This is free stuff, y'all. Good stuff, valuable stuff. People pay me for this stuff, but I'm giving it to you on Facebook Live for free. So don't let it go to waste, okay? I bid you much love and success. God bless. This is Coach Sybil Kearse. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.